Welcome to another episode of Top Chef Talks. We have another interesting talk, and this time around we're letting the egg break, and there is a theme for the show. So we're going to try to bring the focus to the egg breaking and what it means for us to let the egg break. Next to me, I've got my guest, Tank. Was it?
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, great man.
Yeah.
It's been a very long time.
It has been.
Many months. I think I last saw you in 2012.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Okay.
Go for it.
Right. Well, my name is Hlonipho Blessing Tankwa. I am originally from, as you know, from Zimbabwe, in Zim. I've been in Cape Town, I think, for the past 14 or so years. So this has become a second home. I basically left when I was quite young.
Sure.
I was 19, so just after high school, I made my way down to South Africa and I landed up in Cape Town as a home.
Okay.
So I've been here for my basically my adult life. Second year, as you know, I'm in real estate.
Yeah.
DJ and recently a published author.
Yes.
And a producer as well. So
Yes.
amongst many other things.
We're going to talk about all of
Yeah,
them. Talk about trades.
So yeah,
Yeah.
to overload the
Yeah,
audience.
yeah,
But
yeah.
that's basically the gist of it. Yeah.
And actually, speaking of the jack of all trades and the master of none, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking
Yeah.
of my mind now, being the master and our relationship to mastering things.
Yes.
And the kind of work you do in real estate, you also do some renovations, right?
Yes, I
That
do.
space. And that's why you need to be showing your mastery.
Yes.
Behind the decks, you need to be showing your mastery.
Yes.
But then you are being told, when you're a jack of all of them, you're a master of none. What's your take on that?
I understand that, but also we live in a different age. But it's important to master the things that you do. And I think with me, it all derives from everything I do is an extension of me.
Okay.
So I'm not going out into, for instance, into now all of a sudden medical profession or whatever. Everything I do, in a sense, is tied to my personality or the person that I am. You know? You talk about real estate and then you talk about renovations. It's still an extension of real estate because it has everything to do with property.
Correct.
So all my years dealing in property, getting to know service providers, getting to know artisans and technical people and understanding a little bit of what they do, I've managed to consolidate that and actually give it as an extension of my services in real estate. So it's not out of, you know, it's not like it's out.
It's still you.
It's still within my purview. You talk about DJing.
Yes.
I'm someone who started DJing because I had a love for music. And incidentally, then other people started to hear what I had. And then they're like, hey man, this is good. You should probably be a DJ. And so I tried it out and gave it a go. But the love of music was there before DJing. The love of music is still there now when you say DJ. And should I ever, for whatever reason, not DJ, it's always going to be there. So again, it's an extension of my personality. I'm not going out of my way to be something. So it all ties back to me. I'm an author. That persona is born from the problems that I've identified since childhood and growing up. It's born from the issues that I've identified. And again, I interact with a lot of people, you know, more than the average person, because again, back to real estate, I'm dealing with all sorts of people at different levels of life, different personas, different mentalities. And I DJ, so I'm in a setting where the same professionals and so on and so forth. So it's my interaction with people.
And each one seems to be requiring a different you.
Yeah, a
But
different but it's still me.
So that takes us to something else that I wanted to also chat about, personas, because that's where they can't end, right?
Yes.
Because now when you are in a certain context, you become that person in that context.
Yeah.
If I am sweeping, I am a sweeper at the time I'm sweeping.
Yes.
But when I'm done, I am something else
Yes.
when I'm doing that thing, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I mean, how do you see, or do you see any limitations to that kind of thinking about life or do you see opportunities in terms of how life is and how you approach life?
I see opportunity more so now than before, because before, the thing about the world of a creative is it's only now that that's starting to take shape as something, but before we were like in the dark or in the bush. But being a creative means that you are not only creative when it comes to engineering problems.
Sure.
So an engineer is able to so we talk about transformation. So if you have an ability, for instance, to solve problems, just because the field in which you identified that skill was again an engineering issue, you can easily transhumate that to another field.
Correct. Yes.
So I don't see a problem with that kind of thinking, but it takes work, because you have to have serious conversations with yourself, start to understand yourself, and start to it comes with a lot of skills like detachment, because personas.
That's a big one.
Because we get attached to one specific thing that we are, and then you find that becomes our whole identity. So no, me, I'm a lawyer. So now every setting that I'm in, I have to be that guy who's always talking law and whatever. Even in a social setting, because I have to, in order for my relevance or for me to feel part of the group, I must bring up some conversation that has a law problem where I'm a master at.
Why though?
Because we are attached to personas. So detachment becomes a skill to be learned, because you can now compartmentalize. You're a father, you are a top exec, but you can't come to your kids with your executive title into the house. It requires a different you. It's still
with my gardening skills there.
So it's but detachment becomes the key.
But then detachment is one hard thing to do.
Yes.
It's also painful, right? Because there are things that we want to attach to that are valuable.
Yeah.
To attach to, you want to be attached to your family, for example.
Yes.
In that sense that you want to be part of it.
Yes.
Of your family. But then to take a step back and say, I was a person before this family.
Yes.
I am a person during, I will be a person after. I will always be someone. And to have that mental separation, I think for me it brings clarity, because you can see different states.
Yes.
And that is when I am acting there, that makes sense in that world.
Yeah.
And I think in the world we live in, where identities come quite strong, and we revolve around people who've got different perspectives about life, and we come across these identities, clashes, and these egos.
Yes.
And nobody wants to back down. Everybody wants to get their voice heard. Everybody wants to get their opinion heard. And what's your take on that?
I think we touched quite a lot on this thing, and we kept on. So when you talk about, I said, for instance, one of the skills is detachment.
Correct.
That's a skill to be learned on its own. So picture a handyman. Not one tool does everything in a house or in a property. So this is where I identified, you can actually have a set of tools for life. So I'm a handyman, or I'm a manager of my life. Therefore, there should be a set of tools. So I went about finding those tools that fit in within my life, or into the structure of being human. So from detachment, you get other skills, compartmentalization being one of them. There's a lot of things that you need to learn in order to navigate this world. So just to answer, can I get your question again?
So on
clashes,
yes.
Right, thank you for the reminder. So on clashes, you're talking about clashes. It's one of them is how we identify, or the names we attach to things. So we're talking about a situation like disagreement.
Yes, and fights.
Exactly.
Yes.
The word disagreement and the word fight are two different things. And the moment you say fight, the mind is programmed or is wired to go into a defensive mode, because the brain understands. We think that the brain works in this fanatical way.
Yes.
No, the brain is a simple organ. It was created for one function, and its primary existence, the brain is there to protect us. So there are certain things that that its receptors respond to.
Correct.
So the moment you say fight, by definition, fight is something or someone is in danger.
It wants to protect.
Yeah. So if I say me and my girlfriend or me and my wife had a fight, or are having a fight, then all of a sudden my brain wires itself to protect. So it's a survival instinct now.
Correct.
That kicks in. So there's not going to be any logic. There's not going to be any sensitivity. Because everything else must shut down because we are fighting to survive. It's like when you are being choked.
Sure.
Your body does all sorts of things that are not normal movements because it's just trying to survive. So when you say you are fighting, you are trying to survive. It's as if your mind starts to believe you are being choked. Right? So
it comes down to making a space for it so that
yes,
you don't immediately box it or define it.
Yes.
So maybe some definitions are useful and helpful to an extent, but you don't want to give it these definitions that are not accurate also.
Yeah.
Like, this is a fight.
Exactly.
As opposed to, we are in a disagreement. Can I get your opinion on this? Because if I ask you to weigh in and I tell you already, hey, come here, I'm fighting with Terry.
Yes.
Also
even me, I'm coming. I'm
fighting.
Yeah, where's my if I go to Shambo, what can
you
I
need to come prepared. But if I inform you that we have a misalignment on the issue,
I come with a different set of tools.
Correct, and I'm going there to problem.
Yeah, so I'm bringing my intellect into the room, as opposed to bringing my stance of. I need to protect something. It's a survival.
Interesting. So on that protection, the mind wanting to protect you is a safeguard, is a mechanism. So it's good that the mind wants to do that because it's helping us. And our nervous system wants us to do that. So it can be comfortable. So earlier we were talking about the towns and the name changes of these towns and people being uncomfortable about some of the name changes. So part of our conversation we talked about the ones, for example, in Eastern Cape, where East London is being renamed to Ugombo, and there is a historical importance around those names. And the point I touched on was how people seem to be uncomfortable with the name change, not because of the name itself, but with the association to their identity.
Yes.
And they have lived their life, they've brought people in that life, and they're attached. Because as humans, we have got symbols and signs, and we make associations, and we interpret the world from the way we understand it. Yeah. So when you are building your identity unaware, or you may say, for example, you can't touch me because I'm from this place.
Yes.
So now when that is stripped off, what are you going to reference?
You're left naked.
You are left naked, and that is the core of this show is now when you're left naked, then the egg breaks.
Yes.
Because you have been living your life with living in this eggshell, but you're not aware how fragile it is.
Yeah.
And you do by all means possible to try to protect the egg from breaking.
Yeah.
You don't want it to, because you don't know what will happen when it does.
Yes.
And I think for me, that's one limitation about this life, is that we want to know that when we do know, then we can act.
Yeah.
But when we don't know, we would rather protect and be defensive because we don't know what will happen.
Which is counterintuitive, because even the things that we know are formed off the basis of someone didn't know, they did something, therefore they knew, they documented. So knowledge often follows action, not action following knowledge. We have the benefit of hindsight. There are things that we can do, but uncertainty is only cured by one thing, which is action. So the proverbial egg has to break. And when the egg breaks, what do? We're going to make an omelette, we're going to bake a cake, we're going to
scramble.
You know what I mean? And then once that's out of the way, the world presents itself,
Yeah. I mean, have you been in these situations where you are stuck in this situation, you just can't move beyond this point because you're trying to do right.
Yeah.
You're trying to ensure that you are being heard and your point is the right point. And the reason I asked is I had a chat with my one friend last week. I will say this because I know she will be comfortable with this anyway. So it was one of those family dynamics, and she had this conversation with her mom, and she believed that her mom was wrong and she was right.
Yeah.
And they got into this situation where they were not moving beyond that point because she wanted to be right and mom had to be wrong.
Yeah.
So then she asked for my opinion. So I said, my opinion is that, first of all, parents are more likely to want to be right. That's one thing.
Yeah, of course.
Especially that generation.
Yes.
Maybe this generation is different. So there is, for me, I quickly make space for them because I know they want to be right. Or at least they want to hear that they are being acknowledged that they are right. So immediately, if I do that, I let them believe that, then we can move beyond that point. So what is the next thing that we can focus on? And if next thing could be something else, but now, if we are stuck on this argument of who's right and who's wrong, we never move beyond this point.
Yeah.
And my suggestion to her was, just be wrong. Just feel wrong. Right? Just surrender. With the understanding that you're not necessarily wrong, but you're just letting it so that you moved beyond this point. Because there is something else that you could be talking about, but you can't get to it.
Yes.
She may be wanting to compliment your dress. She can't get to that point. Because she can't see that beauty because you are stuck in trying to prove the point. And for me, my personal experience is that when I've gotten into those kind of situations, it hurts to let that, surrender. And strip myself and those egos and all those identities and all the attachments of wanting to be right. It hurts, but it liberates at the end of the day because it gives an opportunity for something else to happen. And I'm just interested on your view on that.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a very common thing. I mean, almost on a daily basis, and you find that in households, maybe this is a kind of misalignment. Because I'm running away from words like argument and fight. It's a kind because it's misalignment.
Because now immediately you may be thinking, hey, that household.
It's misalignment,
correct.
And it's natural. Why is it natural? Because I woke up in a different place today. I have a different set of. I gave you a bit of my background and whatnot. This is 30-something years of becoming, right? And you, on the other hand, you woke up in a different place today. You have a different set of issues and you have got a different set of experiences, good and perceivably bad. So when we sit here and have a discussion, chances of us agreeing 100% of the time on the same things, it's not going to happen. There's going to be misalignment somewhere.
Correct.
And it's up to us to decide, okay, what's the value? I think that's another thing. What are the values that we are placing? So what are the metrics that we use to measure? Is this argument worth, again, the word in quotes, winning? And what is winning? And what am I winning? And what does winning mean? So I think it's important to step back and introspection. Again, I keep talking about tools. I think I spoke about detachment. So here's another tool. Self-introspection, which is you are taking stock of yourself. What is the identity? Who am I? Why am I? Do I like the way I am? And did you know I can change the way I am about certain things? I used to be very OCD. I used to be. And that at the time when you hear about it, those are conditions that apparently can't be changed. This is the way you are. But I let the world be fine with it. I don't like the way I am.
Sure.
So, you start to for me, fortunately, I've always been someone who likes to read. So I came across, a couple of books, and some of them I'll mention later as resources. But also, I had a friend who was the term nonchalant these days. And it might be a bit to the extreme side, but in spending time with him, I got to soften my rigidity. You understand? So I obviously won't take it to the extreme, but I learned something from him. So sometimes just by pure observation, I observed that no, because then you realize what was the thing that really was making. Oh, so just because this cup is not sitting, you know, now I'm. And that used to bug me because
Sure.
my mental energy is going to something that's so insignificant
How important
in the great scheme of things.
What's the value? Does it
Nothing dies, no one dies, no money is made or lost.
does it fix potholes?
No, it doesn't. So, but those are some of the things I'm talking. But
Yeah.
because now, at some point in my life, I was holding on to an identity. Where it comes from, it really doesn't matter at this point. I'm here now, and at some point you are now the adult in your life. In other words, you are now the parent in your life. At some point, you are now the parent in your life of yourself.
Yes.
So it's important to, in places that maybe you don't agree with or don't like, is to then go and reparent. And parenting is simply education and guidance.
Correct.
So
You need that mental compass.
yeah, no one tells us that it's like one moment everything is being directed for you, and all of a sudden you are 18 or whatever, and there is no director, or you think there's no director. That can be a very confusing place. But then it takes you some time, or it took me some time to get to the realization, oh wait, I need to be the director again in terms of very sensitive, because you see we're talking about parents.
Yes.
So
yes,
we
yes, yes.
externalize that to a certain figure, mother or dad.
Whereas it's
But
about
it's
responsibility.
guidance.
Yes.
So you are now at a point whereby we trust you to be able to make conscientious decisions on your own. So you can restructure, you know, you can restructure the way your life is managed. Because all that it is, being an adult and all this nonsense that we talk about these days, it's just management. You are managing and you are the resource.
So it comes down to responsibility.
Yeah, it comes down to
and understanding.
And understanding. Yeah.
Your tool set.
Yeah.
To where your weaknesses are.
Yes,
You go and you improve your skills here and there.
Yeah.
It's interesting, man. Because the more we see, the more we understand that the little we how much little we know.
Exactly. But that's a beautiful place. Because I'm always excited. I can't wait. And God help me, or whoever is out there, or whatever the life giver is, because that's another topic. I know you stay away from that.
Yeah.
But I can't with what I'm learning and getting to understand at this point in my life, and actually the realization when I get to every summit I get to, you realize there's a bigger plane. There's a bigger, and you get to, and there's a bigger plane. I'm actually excited to get old. The only reason why I'm excited to get old is the knowledge
you will have
that I will acquire by then, but also the realization that when I get there is more. So life is intriguing to me right now, with all its complications and its difficulties. I'm interested in what the world has to. It has so much more to offer than one identity. You know, I grew up as this one. This is who I am. You know, we are these people. That's all good and well, but it's just a coping mechanism, and it's an unhealthy one.
It's a very small piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
And I always also maintain the belief that there's always a bigger picture. And I don't know the bigger picture. Whatever is happening, I always tell myself it's probably just a small fraction of the bigger picture. And you know, when you meet people, you go around the world, they can change your perspective without telling you need to change it.
Yeah.
Like, for example, to your friend.
Yes, that observation.
Who allowed you to soften a bit around being rigid. I booked a ride the other day. I was going to the traffic department. And I got there, and then I was assisted, but I was told that I needed to go to another branch. But not far, like 7 kilometers from that one. So as I was walking out, then I met the driver. He was still in the same branch, but he was using the bathroom. So as I was coming out, he was like, "Oh, Leander, are you done?" I'm like, "No, I'm done, but I'm having to go, and I'm already waiting for another ride that's picking me up in 14 minutes." And he was like, "No, I'll take you there." I said, "Okay, but I'm waiting." He's like, "You can cancel it. I'll take you there." I cancelled, so we went. Then when we got there, then there was this lady, I think they were on lunch, and you could see facial expressions
Yeah.
was grumpy. It's lunchtime, people, and I'm stopping here to ask something. So, and I got up and I was like, Sissy, please, can you direct me? Is this the right entrance? Because I'm on a crutch. So if this guy leaves,
And
I'm going to struggle
yeah,
to go to the correct one. So can you just be patient with me? Then she points us. Then it turned out that we needed to drive around. So we got inside. So the guy is like, take my number. So when you get inside, if the line is long, just let me know. I will leave. But if it's short, I'll wait for you. So I get there, then they couldn't assist me. They said, you need to go to Greenpoint.
Oh.
So I said, oh, pretend I'm still here, but I'm having to go to Greenpoint. He said, come, I'll take you there. So he takes me there. We're not now on the app.
Yes.
He was driving me. We get there, and I get to the entrance. And as soon as he leaves, and I get to the door, and the guy's like, you need to go behind the building.
Oh.
So I ask, do you think I can maneuver? He's like, I think you can. I'm like, this guy probably underestimating this.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, cool. And then I called, what's happening? Where are you? How far are you? He's like, I'm there by the garage. I'm putting some fuel. What's up? I'm like, can you come around? I need more assistance. I need to go around the block. So he takes me around the block. When we get there, they are about to close. I'm like, no, we are closing and we can't let guys in. I'm like, Sissy, we have to let us in because we won't be able to run in.
Yes.
So anyway, we went in and I got assisted finally. And he waits for me. Takes me home. Drops me off. So along the way, we were chatting about life, his experience with his daughter and everything, and his girlfriend, he's a divorcee. So we get here, and they're like, okay, cool, sure. I'm like, so how much do I, like, no, don't need to pay me.
Wow.
So you meet people, such people in this life, and you think, what have I done?
Yeah.
And to this day, I don't know. But I asked for his, because I had his number, so I asked for his account number.
Yeah.
And he refused. I'm like, please, man. If you don't, I will do cash.
Yeah, do cash.
So he gave me his account number. So I deposited the money that was reasonable in my understanding. But the interesting thing is, along the way, he then shared the story that he was actually, so it was on a Monday or Tuesday, and the month end was on that Monday or Tuesday. And the Uber money payments come on the Tuesday.
Yes.
So he was actually running short of his money to settle his debts, and he didn't want anything to bounce. So he had contacted his friend who was overseas to ask for a bailout. So he asked for an amount, and then the friend doubled that amount. So on the way, he then says, hey, I don't know why this guy gave me twice as much as I asked for.
Yeah.
But when I asked him why, he said, no, you deserve it.
Yeah.
So then he was like, then who am I in this situation? So I let you through.
Yeah.
Because I think that's how life should be.
Yes.
So it kind of changed my perspective about being there for people.
Yes.
And just giving. You know, I think he's just a giver at that particular point. And I also, as part of my attachment, I was also struggling with, wanting to keep connections alive.
Yes.
And I would have wanted to keep that connection, because this person helped me.
Yes.
But I had to work so hard to not continue to wanting to be in touch, because it didn't mean anything beyond that point. All this guy was doing was offering. When he was offering, we didn't have to have a relationship beyond that point.
Yeah.
But because of that sense that I had, could have been anything, guilt or anything. Like,
Yes.
I owe him much, so I need to, so that I can show the gratitude. But it was all unnecessary. So I made contact once, and then after that, I actually don't need to.
Yeah.
He would have let me know too if he was thinking about but I can keep that in memory, but I don't have to always keep going back there. But it's painful sometimes to just let go of that.
Yes, there you go. I like that what you're talking about, and that's just human. And when you say the word painful, words like painful, or anger and all that stuff, the anger is not a real thing. Pain, emotional pain is not. I'm not devaluing those things. I'm saying they are not real things. They are signals.
Sure. Yeah.
It's your brain.
System is protecting
it's your
you.
system saying something, or is it telling you we are uncomfortable? So, but the fortune of being human is that we for some reason in our evolution, we were able to go beyond our base instincts or our reptilian nature.
Yeah.
So that's where we need to sort of understand that our mind being the operating system, you can go and update it. So you say, no. Don't try and not feel the pain or the anger. Let the anger rise.
Yeah.
But you put something in place that notifies you, oh, anger is coming up, and anger comes up because it's trying to tell us we are uncomfortable in a situation. So you see how you then take that system.
Yes.
So instead of acting on the base instinct of anger, because that's when you act out of character and you do all sorts of things or you break things and all stuff. You see, the anger we let the anger go beyond its usefulness, which is it's a signal to say, hey, Puti, we are not comfortable, and then let your logical mind take over. But we are professionals, we are adults, whatever, and we have not come beyond the base, the base of our basic instincts, our emotional actors. So when you talk about, again, back to what we're talking about being adults, they say no, it's management.
Yes.
So we are bad managers.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Because we are not applying the right set of tools for the right set of settings.
Yes.
So not everything is a final written warning. Just because I think all of us have been in some way.
At some point.
Not every situation is a final written warning. And I think that's the part of reprogramming. So back to I think when we get to the book, I'll explain exactly how these things are working.
Yes.
But so the pain is allowed.
Yes.
But the pain is not as real as, because it's imagined. If I'm angry right now, like picture, let's say I'm angry right now. But what are you seeing? You're seeing a guy that's here. Me in my world right now, it's real. But I can't breathe out anger. It's not tangible. So it's an internal observation. It's very subjective.
Until you do something.
Yeah, but even when I do something,
it's something else.
Someone is watching you being ridiculous.
Yeah. They're not watching you being
the anger doesn't come out and become a thing. There's actually no one thing that you can point it and say, oh, that's anger packaged. It's not as real.
Correct.
As
I like that.
You understand? Yeah. It's not real. It's in your head. That's where the anger is. So your action becomes something totally divorced because people cannot identify it too. We can say, yeah, he was angry. But even that, you can't, there's no metric to it.
But for people watching, because context is key. So I don't want us to lose that. As much as we don't want to put too sticky definitions around, but especially around pain. I mean, a lot of people are going through a lot of painful things. You see what I mean? So your point is that if you put people under systems that can measure pain, so whether pain is caused by structural things or it's psychological, it's still
and I'm talking mainly from the emotional aspect.
Correct.
Not obviously if you bend your hand, whatever. That's I'm talking about the pain, and I'm explaining that the pain or the feeling of pain is in itself not an end. It's just your mind signaling to you we are uncomfortable here, and the only way to soothe or deal with that pain is when you go and figure out, why is it that when someone disrespects me, again in quotes, because what I define as disrespect might not be, why when I feel disrespected. So what's the origin of that part of my ego that makes me feel like acting out in a certain way if I feel disregarded? What about me makes me feel uncomfortable in situations? So that's
I like that point that you made there about the fact that it's not the end point. Because my perception is that it's all conditioned. It's all conditioned, and it's the conditioned nature of experience, because experience in itself is conditioned. But the moment we think that experience is not conditioned, like I am this person, I am somebody who's always angry, I'm somebody who doesn't take this, you see, then you are detaching it from experience itself. You are making it a concept that you are this person, and it's going to be very difficult to shake it off.
Yeah.
But if you understand that it's just based on a condition at a particular point in time,
Yes.
and when that condition is there, that is likely to arise. And once you understand that certain things happen because of certain conditions, you will understand that shortly after that, it just disappears. No, there's nothing else. And I think to your point about pain, and you get that, you feel it. It's our systems.
Yes,
is
it's very real to you. Yes.
Correct, you are feeling it. But then you need to interpret it.
Yeah.
What is it telling you? I think in my last show, I actually spoke about that, about signals and how strong and how animals at the basic level interpret signals.
Yes.
So when they hear certain sounds, when they have certain smells, they
associate it with
they
the
associate
predator.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we are exactly like that
Yes.
at the base of our...
Correct.
That's what
Yeah, but you could actually be sitting here and you hear a certain sound and you're thinking to yourself, maybe it's the sound of a pig. But then you think here, it's not possible to have a pig in the area where you're at now. Then you will understand that that sound is not always the sound of a pig.
Yes.
But in that context, when there are pigs around, that association gets stronger because you just seen a pig.
Yes.
So it gets stronger that it's his sound. Yeah. But here it could be different. Like the other day, I was sitting over there and I saw water in front of the fridge. Like, it's not going to be easy for me to get there to hear the water. So now immediately my brain goes to this mode of panic.
Yeah, something is best.
Yeah.
There's a best part.
Yeah, and I am struggling because I have my own condition that I can't get there quick enough. So my mind is now going on, it's going on. Then I'm thinking. Then I take a step. I pull my clutch because now I have to use because I need to move quicker. So I'm moving with the clutch. As I get closer to the water, it turns out it's a shadow.
Oh, the best pipe.
Yeah.
You see, that's exactly what I'm saying.
So now, as I'm closer, I see it's just a shadow of this refrigerator. So now I go back and I take the same seat and I look back there and I still see that area. But now the perception has changed. Yes. I don't see water anymore. And that is just how perception changes.
Yeah.
But I had believed it and I watched my signals getting stronger because the association, the reason my brain was thinking it's water because the association of the refrigerator and the water was stronger because it stores things that are cold. So I wouldn't have thought it was water if it was in front of the TV.
Exactly.
So you see how then things start changing by association, by interpretation, and how we can be attached to the future.
I like what you're saying because what you are saying as well is upon the evidence, upon the facts, so evidence based. Like so, when it was no longer a subjective point of view, when it was now objective,
understanding is different.
So there needs to be a pause between that subjective self. So it's a battle. Now I can use the word battle. It's a battle, it's an internal battle between the subjective self, the one that jumps to conclusions, the one that assumes, the one that reacts.
Yes.
There needs to be a pause, just a pause in between. Because in that pause, it's like a backup generator. It allows the logical mind to kick in. So, but again, that's a practice. So that's a tool. It's a practice to say, we breathe first before we act.
Yes.
And as you exercise that over time, it becomes your sort of, I had a trainer in real estate, brilliant guy. He said, so when he was training us, he would say, so my job is to make you, so at the moment you are unconsciously incompetent. My job, and I'll explain that, my job is to make you consciously incompetent.
Okay.
Then the next stage is to make you consciously competent. And then the final stage is to make you unconsciously competent. So you see, it's you guys don't know what you don't know.
Sure.
At this point. So my job is to bring that out so that I make you aware of your incompetence. Then when you are aware of your incompetence, we know what we are addressing. We're then going to make you competent. At that point, you are going to be now conscious of your competence. But the next level is, I want you to be operating at such a high level of competence that you are now, that's now your default setting. You are even competent in an unconscious way. So subconsciously. So it's all
Sure.
conditioning and training.
Yeah.
So the same way you're talking about conditioning, as I grew up this way, this is how I am. That is a set of trainings. It might not have been structured, but that's what built, that information is what built this personality that you have in front of you today. That if you are sitting there as someone who says, I said there, I don't like some of the ways that I am.
Yeah.
But I thought there was no way of changing that, because I thought personalities and stuff were set. You can't, we can learn history, we can learn literature, we can learn careers and all that stuff. I didn't know that you can learn humanity. you can learn programming, you can learn programming. So as I started to read and explore, and like watching something like this and getting different perspectives, we're not all going to agree.
No.
And I'm at peace with that.
Yes.
Because I'm not attached to the outcome. I'm simply interested in ongoing conversations that lead me somewhere. If I'm able to be a better person tomorrow for myself, that's good enough.
Sure.
So that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about when I say that we can literally change the way we think, because the way we think is the way we show up in the world.
Correct.
But that is informed by the things that we are reactive to and all that stuff. So that conditioning is
very important.
Yeah. So I was just talking about that pause between the subjective
and the next,
and then because then that can kick in. So over time that becomes
and that gap to delaying that impulse to act is very, very important.
Yeah, so just switch it off. It's like when you restart your phone. When your phone is not
a few seconds.
You don't take it to my friend.
Yeah.
That you just. So if you can do nothing else at this point in time, switch off for 2 seconds. Then when you reboot, you are in control.
Completely different.
It's important to pause.
Yeah.
Our elders were not stupid or anything.
No.
Some of the things that you hear in culture stories and different things, but you would hear things like, it's important to think first before you act.
Correct.
That one thing on its own is a very huge key thing. Think, because then bring your logical brain into the conversation, because trust me, you are reacting right now.
Yeah. We want to defend the egg. Protect
the egg, because it's a
fragile thing.
Yeah. It's actually understanding that your mind is doing its job.
Yeah.
Your mind was created, not mind, again we're saying mind, the brain.
Yes.
The organ that is the brain was created to assess. Its primary function when it was formed was, hey, fire burns, don't go there. So it's always been like that.
It will always act.
That's what it's there. It's there to scan for problems. So when we then say again, somewhere in evolution, we develop this mind now, which is the conscience. We are actually able to choose. A lion can't help but be a lion. We are not the same.
No, we can choose.
We can help but not be.
Yeah. Correct.
It's very possible.
Yeah, ne?
Yeah.
So hey, yeah, we're just gonna be time conscious. From the book now. Yeah. What are some of the things that you would want to share from the book?
Okay, so from the book, I think by now you have seen that there's a heavy observation, or there's a heavy connotation towards human systems.
Yes.
And I say the problem to be solved started with myself. I'm going to be very honest and candid.
Sure.
I've always had questions from childhood. Why things are being done like this? Is there no other way? Is no better way? I had no answers then. But then coming out into the world, as you say, going into different societies, dealing with different people, being exposed to other things, reading certain books. For one example, one great book that I read was Viktor Frankl's A Man's Search for Meaning. That is a very powerful book. I couldn't dissect it for anyone right now. There's not enough time. But reading such a book was very instrumental. The book, The Courage to be Disliked. It's by a Japanese guy, I can't quite pronounce it now.
I've seen
it. So books like that, if anything, read Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning.
I have that one there.
Yeah, exactly, and that The Courage to be Disliked. Just but a few examples. So being in open-minded enough to be in different spaces and different worlds, hear other opinions, and just to observe. It's a very important thing. Because at the end of the day, human beings, we are not so different. We can sound different, we can eat different and all that stuff, but that's region based.
Sure.
But we are all fundamentally the same creature. So the book now, coming to the book, it's things like narrowing down I'm going to liken us to machines now, narrowing down the operating systems that are existent. So there are dysfunctional operating systems, which is the things that we know, and these are internal conversations. So I'm not going to point.
Yes.
I've tried to avoid projecting or avoid pointing the finger outward. Like I said, this started with me, and in that study and in that search was finding out that there are these basic things. So in other words, you've got in cars, you've got SUVs, you've got smaller cars, you've got 4x4s. Those are very functional cars in their own terrain.
Correct.
But you cannot take a small sedan into the desert terrain.
Yes.
So where are you functioning? So that becomes very important. So we have what we call operating systems as people. So that's the information by which we show up in the world.
Okay.
Right? We show up in the world based on the information that is input in us. Right? But also the same way that you can upgrade or update your software on your phone, or you can upgrade and update your own software, which is information. Because information is what drives us. Information is everything. So there is information out there.
So we need data.
Yeah, there's data. There's data, there's information, there's rewiring. You can recode as many times as you want. You can reinvent as many, and I know that sounds ridiculous.
Yes.
Especially when you're sitting at a place where like I'm struggling with just one thing out of 100. And you're telling me you can be something different, you can be, So some things, for not wanting to sound like a crazy person, I can't go to, because at the end of the day, even if I do say them, this is a personal journey.
Yeah.
I think it's very important that we start to understand this, because we think there are experts out there. No, there might be people that are well versed with certain problems, but we are all trying to figure out life.
Sure.
And when I sit here, I'm not sitting here as an authority on these things and whatnot. I'm just saying, based on the need and the urge and the search and what I've found, and the fact that in my own life I can safely say it has transformed me in a huge way. These are the things that I can share. So the book is about characters, it comes down to those operating systems, human relations. So it's the Sovereign Mutiny, which is basically a mutiny is like a liberation stance. It's a battle for your own sovereignty. In the same way that countries will say, this is South Africa and this is Botswana, that's sovereignty, to say we want to govern the way our people, we want to live this way. So that's the sovereignty I'm talking about, not what other people tell us to do and whatnot. So long as it's not illegal or morally messed up, it's very important to find your own identity. So that's what the book is about, finding your own identity, but also pointing out to there are all these things that these things are programs, and maybe this is where I think you say, hey, people are going to be disappointed.
Yes.
We are not unique.
No.
There's only about 4 personalities out there.
Yes.
All of us, we can show up differently. I can wear Galaxy Boy, you can wear whatever. But in the world, there are only about 4 personalities. Yes. Most of them dysfunctional, and the Sovereign, very functional and very direct. And the Sovereign is simply the guy or the lady that has managed to collect the right set of tools and has learned how to do the handiwork. So they are not building mega structures or anything. No, just basics. Managers. Yeah, they've just found the right tools for managing. That's all. They know when to apply them. Yeah, they know where and when to apply them, because they are consciously, competent, and some having after practice are unconsciously competent as a result of the practice.
Correct.
So it's like I say, it's a book. It's very it introduces very new concepts.
No, it is,
especially to myself as a I'll say to to myself as an African person, it's a lot of new concepts, so to speak. So it's going to introduce a lot of new concepts into our community. And why I'm saying our community is, I cannot help but see from the perspective of an African.
Sure.
So I was looking at the problems from our community's eyes and saying we really have got a lot to offer.
Yeah.
But these are some of the tools that we could use or borrow from other parts of the world and bring into our own context. So I feel like the problem of persona is a huge issue. That's where we got the egos. That's where we got the attachment. Your families, it's too interweaving.
Yes.
If you are someone who wants some time to themselves to build themselves, you are seen as a strange.
Yes.
Like, it's a bit messy. And
very necessary. This is very necessary.
Yeah, so
how do people find?
So the book is on Amazon. But what I don't know if you share the link or anything. I'll share the link and I'll share the
okay. When I post the show, I'll post the link.
So it's there on Amazon. It's live. It can be shipped to you anywhere in the world, I should think. So
please, I think you need to check out that book.
Yeah.
So you mentioned those 4 types of personality.
Yes.
What are they briefly?
Okay, so you've got, for instance, you're gonna get me in trouble. So you've got the campaigner.
You're breaking the egg.
Yeah, I'm breaking the egg.
Yeah.
You've got the campaigner. So the campaigner is typically, the profile of the campaigner is someone who, as a child, probably grows up in an environment whereby only grand gestures are recognized. So it must be a great achievement at school before you get any kind of acknowledgement. Otherwise, every other day, you don't seem or feel to get any acknowledgement. Or when there's something wrong that is done, then that's only when you get some form of interaction, that's of whatnot. So that kind of person grows up with one understanding. The mind, that's the primary mind that's programmed then is, in order for me to feel seen or to get attention, I must create drama. You see, so these are the people that are always victims.
Okay.
It's always, because then that attention sort of becomes a dopamine hit.
Sure. Yeah.
So I'm sure we all know some people like that. It's a small thing. They will blow it out of proportion. They are on Facebook. They are on Instagram with it. They are on TikTok with it. They are on WhatsApp statuses incessantly with it. So I'm not saying people don't share things, but I'm saying that's usually the kind of person like that. And then you've got the enmeshers. Okay, so again, this ties a lot to relationships. The enmesher is the kind of person who, if we are in a relationship, Sarah and John don't exist anymore. Everything is
okay.
There's no life outside the. You can't.
There's no before.
If you do things without me, then it becomes very. These are people that are unable to separate their identity from others or from certain things. Back to what I was saying, like the guy who's the lawyer now, wherever he goes, he's the lawyer. He can't separate that identity from something. So it's not only I'm just saying it happens to show up more in relationships, because believe it or not, romantic relationships are a huge boiling pot of personas, because there's so much wanting and needing there. So when it meets with the wrong operating system, virus it mutates, it becomes something else, because there's also another level of emotion involved. So that's the enmesher.
Okay.
Then you've got the avoidant type.
Okay.
The avoidant type is they will never have.
Don't want conflict.
They don't want conflict. They accept everything. You know what I mean? They disappear. So it's an avoidant type. That is in itself a form of self-preservation. So that's some sort of trauma that was maybe very big, or was perceived as being very big. But now the only way is, you know, these are the kind of people that walk around praying that if a hole could just suck them
Yeah.
and they disappear from the world. So, because that one moment, that could be 20 or 30 or whatever years ago, caused them strain. And again, it's not to invalidate the happenings.
Yes.
Because some things, some people go through,
Yeah,
we wouldn't
correct.
be able even to imagine the kind of trauma that someone goes through to get there.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you are going to be in the world, you know, if you are going to be in the world and show up as your best person and really live a life, which I think everyone deserves a good life, and can
A
to a
soft
degree,
life.
well, that's a very contentious word, but everyone deserves a good life.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, sometimes it rains.
Yeah.
And it rains on you.
Yeah.
But, you know, that doesn't mean you did anything wrong.
Correct.
But you get those personalities. So, you, like I said, you got the enmesher, which is, they get very attached to things, and their identity and things or people or relationships become almost non-recognizable. You've got the avoidant, which we just touched on, and you've got the campaigner. So drama is their, drama is their thing. They need to, you know, even when things are good, there needs to be a problem.
Must be no.
Yeah, there must be a problem. You see, remember the core basis of their existence at this point is it needs to be about them. You see, you understand? It's a whole see me thing. So society, unfortunately, even the algorithm, if there's nothing contentious, I wouldn't be surprised if you cut this and put parts that are
Make it spice it up.
It's so because they've observed this from being children and into the world that we live in today. Good news doesn't sell. How many good articles and whatever do you see? So such people, they've learned that we need to go where the attention is. And unfortunately, in the world as it stands right now, is the attention is on terrible stuff.
Yeah.
So if I can create some shit, even, you know, because peace is not for them. Peace means that they are not being seen. Peace means that it's quiet. They thrive and they strive on that noise. Then you have the sovereign.
Okay.
The sovereign. This is the one who's saying, okay, I am governing. And I'm not governing you or the next person. I am governing me. And as I am governing me, this is what I want. This is what if you are in my country, you have all the rights.
Yes.
As of a citizen and so on and so forth. I'm talking in analogies here. But it's one that's it's this I'm in charge, I'm self-regulating, I'm self-improving, I am self-aware. I mess up, but that's not my intention, and my intention is to improve and all these things. So that's the sovereign. Ideally, we all want to work towards being the sovereign, because that's the guy that I've been talking about. That's the lady that I've been talking about. That's the one that's got the tools. So that's the person who's done actual work. So a lot of the things that I might talk about, they are somewhat unnatural. And in fact, they are unnatural. Because remember, we are natural beings.
Yes.
We are emotional beings.
Yes.
But we are functioning in a world where our emotions and our base instinct is not enough. We've created this society. How we ended up here, but we are here now. So we have to apply some unnatural enhancers, so to speak. You know,
supplements.
Yeah, you must take steps because you want to be something that's not, and that's not a bad thing. Yeah, but that's the species that we are. We have to. Lions, birds, snakes have been doing the same thing that they've been doing. Even them, they adapt sometimes. Yeah. You know, when the terrain changes and the thing they used to eat, they cross, they move, or they adapt. Now the snake eats things. Now the snake climbs trees. If you watch nature and all that stuff, so it's evolution, right? But we are at the helm of that. So there are experiences that we can derive from, and there's a set of tools. And all I'm trying to say is, you can change.
Okay.
The way you think. You can change the way you show up in the world, particularly if it's a pain point for you. If you think you are good with the way you are, stick to it. We are happy for you. In fact, share with us. We want to get there. Yeah. We are all working on every single day, every single moment. It's a lifetime workplace. I'm one of the okay, don't get me killed here. It's like I'm one of those people who, as far as this program is concerned, I'm never gonna graduate from this. Yeah, I'm one of those guys who 7, 8
Yes,
years later, they're
yes.
still in
Yes.
yeah, Kanja.
Yeah,
But I'm not graduating. This is a university I'm not graduating from. I'm always going to be at school with this.
No, my brother. Thanks. I appreciate you coming to the show and letting the egg break.
Yeah.
And what? I'll let you close that batch. Yeah. Your final thoughts, words around.
No, I just want to thank you for this opportunity to talk about this. These are things that you sit there and think only about yourself. I'll be excited to see the community that you have out there. How many people perhaps have had thoughts about these things, and also any feedback.
Yes.
Any difference of, again, not fights. It's difference of opinion. It's misalignments and whatnot, and that's what you bring to the table and advances people. And again, the egg analogy is that's the ego. Let the ego break. Let that thing that you think is the worst that could happen to you, let it happen, and see what avenues it opens up to you. Worst case scenario, you make an omelette, as you say. So,
I like that. Okay, cool.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for watching this. Please do leave your comments right below. Let us know what your thoughts are. There is no fighting, just maybe misalignment, or maybe you are aligned. Let us know what your thoughts are. We try to bring these shows where we bring people who are going to tell their stories, their own experiences, their own perspectives. Like he said earlier, you're not sitting from a point of authority.
No,
just merely sharing your own perspective. And that's the whole point of Top Shelf Talks, is that we just talk. But we think that this is top shelf stuff, Yeah, until next time, have a great one. Cheers. Sure.